Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel. If you really find the information useful, then do like and share my video and subscribe my channel. So let's explore the world of English language and literature with Bharti Arora. Today we are going to read some facts about Mr. Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela is a South African anti-apartheid revolutionary, political leader and a philanthropist who served the South African country from 1994 to 1999. He was the first black head of the state and the first elected in a fully representative democratic elections. He was born on 18 July 1918 in Amazon, South Africa and died on 5th December 2013 in Johannesburg, South Africa. You know, he won more than 250 awards. Like, most prominent ones are Bharat Ratna Award, Nobel Peace Prize and Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal. So, we cannot imagine such high personality, and he spent more than 26 years, approximately 27 years in prison. That much long term of imprisonment. Now let's study today's worksheet number 35 of class 10 subject English. This is of Nelson Mandela and chapter name, your chapter 2 of your book, that is A Long Walk to Freedom. A Long Walk to Freedom is an autobiography by Mr. Nelson Mandela. Autobiography means a story which is written by the author himself, his own story in his words, right? So this is A Long Walk to Freedom, and the passages given in the worksheet, given in today's worksheet, are from this very autobiography. And after reading these passages, we will do few questions and I will give you answers of few questions, but in the end there is one students collaborative activity that you have to do on your own by discussion with your friend, right? So let's do the worksheet.
Let's start the worksheet, students. Nelson Mandela has become South Africa's first black president after more than 3 centuries of white rule. 3 centuries means 300 years. 300 years of white rule. White people were ruling over the country, means there was discrimination between the color, because of the color, white and black. Mr. Mandela's African National Congress Party won 252 of the 400 seats in the first democratic elections of South Africa's history. That was the first democratic election in South Africa, and he won, that party, African National Congress, won 252 of the 400 seats. The inauguration ceremony took place in the Union Buildings Amphitheatre in Pretoria today. Where did the inauguration ceremony take place? It took place in the Union Buildings Amphitheatre in Pretoria. Attended by politicians and dignitaries from more than 140 countries around the world. 140 countries. Imagine 140 countries. Politicians, you know very well. Dignitaries means high-class officials, high-ranked officials or personalities, high-ranked designations, right? Those people also attended that very inauguration ceremony. Never again will this beautiful land experience the oppression of one by another. Never means never this beautiful land will experience the oppression of one by another, means the black or the white, they will remain equal now. Nobody will try to exploit another one, said Nelson Mandela in his address. Jubilant scenes on the streets of Pretoria followed the ceremony, with blacks, whites and coloreds celebrating together. Jubilant means happy scenes. Happy scenes on the streets of Pretoria followed the ceremony, with blacks, whites, black people who appeared black in complexion, white and all other colors, all other races, they all were celebrating together. More than 1 lakh South African men, women and children of all races sang and danced with joy. Means all were happy. More than 1 lakh people, South African men, women and children of all races, they sang, they danced with joy. They showed their happiness by singing and dancing. They all were celebrating. On the day of the inauguration, I was overwhelmed with a sense of history. In the first decade of the 20th century, first decade means period of 10 years. In the first decade of the 20th century, a few years after the bitter Anglo-Boer War and before my own birth, the white-skinned peoples of South Africa patched up their differences. Patched up their differences means to make an understanding between them. There was no kind of confusion and created a system of racial domination against the dark-skinned people of their own land. Means white people in that country started ruling over dark-skinned people. The structure they created formed the basis of one of the harshest, most inhuman societies the world has ever known. Means a very cruel kind of conditions started prevailing there. Now in the last decade of the 20th century and my own 8th decade as a man, that system had been overturned forever. Means that system stopped, it finished forever and replaced by one. Now which system came? That recognized the rights and freedom of all peoples. Means all kind of people, all races, all castes, all creed, all kind of people. That system was recognized, and that was where each and everybody was equal because of the rule of democracy. Democracy is a government of the people, for the people and by the people. India is also a democratic country. Now let's come to the line again. Regardless of the color of the skin, that day had come about through the unimaginable sacrifices of thousands of my people whose suffering and courage can never be counted or repaid. Means so many persons sacrificed their lives in order to gain that very freedom, that very equality. And that suffering and courage can never be counted. That is countless. That cannot be repaid in any way. Now, the second paragraph. The policy of apartheid created a deep and lasting wound in my country and my people. Deep and lasting means which can never be forgotten, which is a very deep kind of hurt. All of us will spend many years, if not generations, recovering from that profound hurt. That injury, that deep wound cannot be recovered. But the decades of oppression and brutality, means that cruelty, that inhumane kind of conditions had another unintended effect which is unforgettable. And that it produced the Oliver Tambos, the Walter Sisulu, the Chief Lutulius, the Yusuf Dadus, the Bram Fishers, the Robert Sabluks of our time, men of such extraordinary courage, wisdom and generosity, that their like may never be known again. Means these kind of persons can never be found again. The courage they had, the wisdom, the intelligence, the bravery, the kindness they had, it can never be found in the men again. Perhaps it requires such depths of oppression to create such heights of character. My country is rich in the minerals and gems that lie beneath its soils. We know that in Africa we can find so many kind of gems there in its soil, under its soil. But I have always known that its greatest wealth is its people. But Mr. Nelson Mandela is giving more preference to the people, finer and truer than the purest diamonds. Means more value to the people who are living there, who can make the country rise to the zenith, but not the gems or the diamonds or the gold or the other material, the magnesium, iron, kind of things which are found under the soil, but the people can make the country rich. So wealth is its people. Let's come to the third paragraph. I have seen men stand up to attacks and torture without breaking, showing a strength and resilience that defies the imagination. I learned that courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it. Yes, courage was not the absence of fear, but the triumph over it means to have victory over that fear which is coming again and again in your mind. And when you are able to overcome it, that is after all bravery. That is after all your courage. The brave man is not he who does not feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear. The one who overcomes that fear, that person is always a brave man. No one is born hating another person because of the color of his skin or his background or his religion. Because when we are born, we don't know that feelings, hate or love. But it comes after passing some years, after some years it comes within us. So he says if people must learn to hate, and if they can learn to hate, they can be taught to love, for love comes more naturally to the human heart than its opposite. He is saying that if people can be taught to hate, then they can also be taught to love, because love is more natural to the human heart. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. Man's goodness. The goodness inside man's heart is really a kind of fire which can never be extinguished, which is really a kind of burning thing inside us. And a man is, naturally a very good human being, right? So this is he wants to say. Now let's come to the questions. What happened after Anglo-Boer War? What happened after Anglo-Boer War? You can see over here, Anglo-Boer War, the white-skinned people of South Africa patched up their differences and created a system of racial discrimination against the dark-skinned people of their own land. So this is your first answer, right? Let's come to the second one. On what basis the structure of Mandela's new government created? You can see over here, it formed the basis of one of the harshest, most inhumane societies the world has ever known, right? It's because of that. Then the third one is, what is the meaning of the phrase to patch up the differences? To patch up the differences means to come to an understanding, to remove all the differences, that is patch up the differences. Now the fourth one is, what did the policy of apartheid create? The policy of apartheid created a kind of imbalance in the society, like people of different races, they were not allowed to remain together, and they were, they had to live apart because of that very discrimination. According to Mandela, what is the greatest wealth? The greatest wealth is its people. How does Mandela define the brave? The brave man is not he who doesn't feel afraid, but he who conquers that fear is the brave man. The seventh one is, find the word from the passage which means submerged. Submerged means overwhelmed. Victory means triumph. Deep and strong, profound. Large-heartedness, generosity. The ability to deal with any kind of hardship and recover from its effects. Resilience. Now, your last question is, discuss with your friends. That's a student's collaboration activity which you have to do together after discussion with your friend. Discuss with your friends on phone, what differences do you see between real life heroes and real life heroes? Can we call Nelson Mandela a real life hero? How? Here, real life heroes are like the persons who are doing some kind of acting. In in these serials, films, movies, the hero is showing such good actions that he is very good by heart. But in real life, we don't know he is good by heart or not, right? In this kind of things, like they are pretending themselves as real life heroes. They are very good ones who are protecting the society from other dangers. But are they the real life heroes? Just like the army men or the policemen or these doctors who are exactly the real life heroes who are protecting us, right? So we have to compare between them. What differences do you see between real life heroes, the persons you see in Hollywood movies, in Bollywood movies, in the serials, etc., or on the country borders which are protecting the country, the real life heroes, or the doctors, the nurses, or the policemen? Are these the real life heroes or those are the real life heroes, and what are the differences? And then he says, can we call Nelson Mandela a real life hero? Nelson Mandela tried to protect his country from that oppression, from that very apartheid, policy which was officially declared by the government. So he also tried to protect his people, protect his country, to overcome that very fear of exploitation, slavery kind of things. So you have to tell that we can call Nelson Mandela a real life hero or not. All the best. Keep yourself safe and stay at home. Bye.